Hi, welcome to Teach With Me. I am Miss Jen. Today we're going to be doing the next letter in our A to Z directed draw series. We're almost done. We're on the letter Y, and today we're doing a yak, and then we're going to do the writing that goes along with it. You're going to need a marker, a felt tip marker, a horizontal lined paper. You're going to need white printer paper, and you're going to need crayons. So let's begin. All right, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure our papers are horizontal. They are going into a book, and when we get to Z, which is our next letter, I will show you how I would put these together in a book. I usually pass them out at like open house, put them out for display at that time. But you don't have to do that. Anyway, let's begin. We're going to start with our yak by telling the kids, make sure your paper is horizontal. We're going to come over here to the top left-hand corner of our paper, and we are going to make an oval that is sort of a vertical oval. So once the kids draw it, look at their paper to make sure it's about the right size, not a teeny tiny one and not a giant one. All right, so within this oval, we're going to do the head first. We're going to do all the parts of the head before we do anything else. Towards the bottom of like the bottom third of this, we're going to make sort of a wide V shape. And then on each side of that, we're going to make a small oval. These are the nostrils, and I will tell the kids to color it in. And then along the bottom of that, I'm going to make sort of like a rainbow shape, but not a very, I don't know what to call that, just a slightly slanted line, kind of a horizon line, if you will. All right, now in the middle of our paper, we're going to make the eyes coming towards the top, but not all the way towards the top. I'm making two horizontal ovals, and then within those ovals, I am going to make some vertical curves. And then within the eye, I'm not coloring in the entire eye. I'm only coloring in like the center of the eye, like that. Then I'm going to make eyebrows. And now I'm going to make the top part of the yak's head. Now the yak's head has a lot of shaggy hair on it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start like right above the eyes. I'm going to make curves first. And then within this top part, I'm going to just make some lines to sort of indicate hair, like that. All right, now where I started that curve, that's where I'm going to start the ear. Let me make this a little bigger so you can see it better. Right here, I'm going to make sort of a downward curve, and then I'm going to come back and meet it just a little bit below where I started. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, right where we made that curve, or made the hairline. Then I'm going to make a curve downward, and then I'm going to come up and meet it just a little bit below. Now for the horns, we're going to start it right where that ear meets, and it's going to look like this. We're going to make a slanted line up, and then, or a slanted line, and then a straight line up. And then we're going to come down to where this corner is, and then we're going to come inward. I didn't quite do that one quite curved enough. That's okay. This one here, I'm going to do the same thing, slanted line, and then straight line up. And then I'm going to come down and curve it back to the head. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the body. Now the body of our yak, we're going to start it like right in the middle of the face, and I'm going to make sort of a curved body, and it's going to come down. So we're going to go across and then curve it down. We're not going all the way to the bottom of the body, obviously. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come under the mouth, like where this V is. I'm going to come down to where it's going to stop right about where the other one is. And then we're going to connect those two with a line, or a curvy line. Remember, yaks are very shaggy. So now to indicate the shagginess, I'm going to draw horizontal lines across mine. You can do vertical lines if that's a look you like better. I'm just going to go like this to indicate the hair on the yak. Okay, now for the legs, this is how I'm going to do the legs. I'm going to, all right, for the legs, here's what I'm going to do. At the very front, I'm going to make a straight line down, come over, and a straight line up. And then right next to that, where it's going to touch, where it touches the body, I'm going to make a slanted line, and another slanted line. I want the legs to look like one is standing straight and one is pushing back like it's going to be walking. I'm going to draw a horizontal line along the bottom, and then I'm going to color it in with my marker. This is the hoof. They actually have cloven hooves because they can climb mountains, but I'm going to just draw it like this because it's easier for kinders. All right, then I'm going to come to the back of the body, and I'm going to come down and do the same thing, straight line down. Make that little line along the bottom. Color it in. I'm going to make a slanted line where it touches the body, smaller slanted line, and then come up. All right, now what I want to do is make the background. So yaks like to climb in the mountains. They live in the mountains. And so what we're going to do is we're going to draw mountains as our background. So I'm going to draw a horizon line. It's going to stop at the yak, continue on the back part. So we need that horizon line at the beginning before we can begin the mountains. All right, so let me show you my sample. You can see that on my sample I have the mountains around the horns, and that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to start here like a little bit above the horizon line. I'm going to go up to the horn, stop, continue on the other side of the horn on a slant. Then I'm going to come down to where the horn is. Like, it kind of depends on how your students do theirs. They may make theirs a little smaller or put their horizon line lower, so you're not going to need to go around the horns quite as much. It kind of depends how they do it. All right, so if they do the line right there, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go again. I'm going to make another slanted line, and then a slanted line down, and I can choose to go all the way to the yak, or I can choose just to leave it. I'm going to go all the way to the yak, or to the line on this one, and then I'm going to go up and then make a little bit of one that comes down, like that little line that comes down. All right, along the top of the mountains, I'm going to make a little curve to make it look like snow's on the top. And then that is it for the drawing. Now let me show you how I colored it. And you'll notice my mountains are different on this one. I think I like it better with the line that comes all the way down rather than leaving it, and just making it a V here. So that's up to you. But here's how I colored it. I used my blue for the background, the sky, of course. I did green for the mountains, but you can do brown for the mountains. You can do white for the mountains. And I did a yellow, green, and a green for the grass for some difference. I did 3 different colors of brown for the face, and then just different shades for the legs. All right, on to the writing. All right, so we're going to get started. You're going to need your paper and your pencil. I'm going to write with a marker just so you can see it better. Here are our 3 sentences, and if you've been with me from the beginning, you know that I write in different colors so that the kids can easily tell which sentence they are on. The first one is always what we are doing. what letter we're doing as well as what we're drawing. So Y is for yak. Yaks are herbivores. Did you know yaks live in cold climates because they cannot sweat? So this is our third sentence, and it's our challenge sentence. I also just remind you, this is not for phonics practice. This one is for understanding sentence structure, to get that penmanship practice, and to just really pay attention to the components of sentence writing. We've got our spacing, our punctuation, our sight words in here, and so forth. So that is what we're doing. All right, so we're going to start with writing down Y is for yak. So I'm going to remind the kids the entire time that they are doing this that if we make a mistake, I will correct it for them, I will help them, and they can fix it because they'll be doing theirs in pencil. One of my primary things that I like to tell people is that it's better to learn it correctly the first time rather than having to unlearn something that they learned incorrectly at the beginning. It is so much harder to teach the kids spacing and to teach the kids how to form their letters correctly when they've already had several years of doing it incorrectly. All right, so I'm going to say, good job, you finished your black sentence. Where are you now? Oh, you're on the blue sentence. And then I'll tell them, oh, you still had room on this line, so let's go ahead and start the blue sentence on this line. So yaks are, and I'm going to say, I still have a little more room. Do you think I have room for the word herbivores? And they'll say, I said that so weird, herbivores. Anyway, and they'll say, no, I don't think we do. If they say yes, I'm going to say, well, we might, but look, we'll go off the line, and do we want to do that? No, we don't. So I'm going to say, where am I going to put the word herbivores? And hopefully they point to the left side. We're also working on that left to right progression with our writing. All right, so herbivores. We had 2 short sentences. So, oh my goodness, we are done with the blue sentence. We are now on the red sentence. Let's read that really quickly. Did you know yaks live in cold climates because they cannot sweat? And if you recall, every time we read a sentence, we're going to be touching those words. I really like to emphasize with the boys and girls that they are, each of these groups of letters represents a word that we are saying. And if you do this consistently, they are going to know that. And remember, we do this every single week with our letter of the week. And so by the time they are finished, they have already done this 26 times. This practice of writing sentences and following these rules and so forth. All right, so let's say they make a mistake and they've spelled a word incorrectly. Let's say, or they didn't put their spacing. I'm going to say, oh, I really like how you formed that letter, but you know what? It's a little too close to one of your other words. Let's erase it and put a little space there. And you just do it in a positive way, because you have to just kind of create that safe space for the boys and girls to know that they can try and they're not going to get made fun of. They're not going to have anything negative happen because they tried. It's super important that the boys and girls feel that in the classroom, because they will try so hard for you if they feel that they are being supported. And that, I'm sure most of you know. But you'd be surprised how many times I've heard negative feedback, and it just really makes the kids shut down. All right, let me pause this.